a relaxing vacation. Too bad I can't say the same thing for the Starbolts. The things I put my characters through.
Yeah, I bet if Crystal knew you were behind this latest drama, she'd stab you with those claws of hers.
Actually, you bring up a really good point. And if those of you at home want to know what's going on in the comic, please, go here and find out.
Do you really have to plug your webcomic in your web show?
It works for Linkara, so it's time for our yearly trip to the Valiant universe, is it? Who are we gonna cover this time? Is it Exo Manowar? I really want to talk about that guy.
No, we're actually going to dive back into the madness that is Archer and Armstrong.
They're not gonna dive into a purse again, are they?
It was a satchel, Chris, and we're going to look at issue 5 of the series.
5? What happened to the other 4?
I like this one the most.
If you say so. Do you mind recapping the other 4 comics so people don't get lost? Namely me.
Sure. So to recap in brief, Armstrong, after learning that an old friend of his, Frank, had passed away, decided to go into his satchel to get a special liqueur that he and Frank stole decades ago. Archer followed his friend, but both of them were captured by a weird demon guy claiming to be the Greek god Bacchus that Armstrong had trapped in there centuries ago. Bacchus escaped and used his party powers to get a whole town blind stinking drunk, but the duo of Archer and Armstrong, along with Archer's adopted sister Mary Maria and her team of ninja nuns, stopped him once and for all. 3 things were established in this arc. The first was that Frank's wife, Muriel, who was also an old friend of Armstrong's, made up with him with no hard feelings for past misdeeds. The second was that Armstrong had been married to a woman named Andromeda, and that she might still be alive. The third was that Archer had no romantic intentions for his adopted sister, and that he was already interested in someone, a girl by the name of Faith who he met at a friend's wedding. This last one is followed up in the standalone issue of A&A, The Adventures of Archer and Armstrong.
Who's Faith?
Faith originally debuted as the breakout character of the comic Harbinger. While I found many of the characters of that comic on the unlikable side, Faith charmed many readers with her cheerful attitude, her non-conventional body image, and acceptance of self, and the fact that she was a full-blown geek girl who cared about everyone and loved flying around. She was so popular that she even got her own spin-off series, the pilot trade of which I own. She and Archer met at the wedding of Ark of Dacia in the pages of Exo Manowar. From there, went on to become a couple. This is the story of their first date.
Yes, I finally hatched the shiny Charmander. I'm gonna call it Obi. Obi the Charizard.
Were you paying attention, like at all?
Yeah, Archer got himself a superpowered girlfriend in between issues. Good for him, I say. Let's take a look at Archer and Armstrong number 5.
Nice save.
It helps to have the script to my left. The cover is sweet. It's nice to see the happy couple so in love and Archer packing serious heat. I don't know what he expects to happen on this date. I just know this definitely does not qualify as conceal and carry. The NRA must really love this guy.
The styling of the cover itself, after the hit movie The Princess Bride, also lent itself well to the themes of the issue, and will definitely foreshadow coming events.
I knew this cover looked familiar.
Yes, you're very clever. Now shut up. We begin at the Dozing Motorist Inn, the home of Archer and Armstrong, for the moment. There, the guys discuss better options for lodging. If only the innkeeper knew about the satchel incident. Archer agrees that the sooner they get on the road, the better, since he knows his buddy wants to see his wife. The only problem is, they don't know where she is.
Spidey would have put a spider tracer on her.
Don't start. Armstrong and Muriel are leaving for a bit to see if they can find Andromeda, and the big guy hopes that Archer will be okay. It turns out that Archer has got plans with a very lovely lady of his own. Well, he has to make them first. Armstrong congratulates him, and Obi admits he's a little nervous despite being an uber-polite ninja. Their friend pulls up, and Armstrong wishes Obi well as they take off for their own adventure.
The car zooms off and our hero here decides to take the plunge. He's going to call a lady. Truly, this is a greater challenge than finding someone's immortal wife. Faith picks up, and sure enough, our guy Obi is nervous. He quickly explains the situation to her and is cut off with a simple question. Are you trying to ask me out on a date? Either that or he's trying to break the speed record for fastest conversation ever.
Oh, give him a break, Chris. It's cute, if awkward. Remember, he's just uber polite. Faith agrees to the date, and we see she was in the middle of rounding up some thugs. They make plans to see that classic film from your childhood, Chris, The Princess Bride.
Hard to believe that movie is 30 years old this year. Inconceivable.
You're old.
At least we finally got to see Robin Wright exchange her princess crown for some Amazonian weapons.
Agreed, and way better than being Jenny from Forrest Gump.
Are we going to read our IMDb or continue with the summary?
Suffice it to say, Obi is extremely happy he scored a date with the blonde heroine. However, trouble for the couple seems to be brewing, as a shifty-looking guy with a fake mustache overheard her plans with Archer. They're gonna jump the two. Tonight! Superhero dates never go well.
Nope. At least it keeps things interesting. We now cut to a montage of the two getting ready. I never thought I'd see a montage like this in comics, if I only had some jazzy music to go with it. Ah, here we go.
Is this really necessary?
Would you rather I use silly, dated sitcom music?
Well, no. This is kinda nice, actually.
Glad you like it. I'm really liking the text between these two. It just adds a bit of character to the comic. Hang on, how can either of these characters have a secret identity if they don't even wear masks? Weird. They both are ready to go and look quite sharp.
Obi waits for his date outside the fabulous Garbanzo restaurant. He's got flowers and everything. Faith runs up to him, hoping she isn't late, as she had to find a discreet place to land. Because, a flying lady around in a purple dress is so hard to notice.
It would just be a Thursday in the Marvel Universe, John.
Exactly. The happy couple walk into the restaurant. Faith asks if it's too weird to be in a place full of Hollywood extras. Obi has seen weirder, and she wonders how he's never seen The Princess Bride. Apparently, when he was growing up, he was only allowed to watch Left Behind and those kinds of movies. Are you laughing?
Nope. I just find it inconceivable.
It turns out Obi has seen The Matrix and found the movie relatable, somehow. They talk a bit more and the waiter brings a menu.
Hang on a second. Are we going to talk about why that waiter had the cat on his arm?
No. Why?
Because no self-respecting cat would allow themselves to be carried around like that in a room full of people. That's just weird.
Oh, it's gonna get weirder. Trust me.
Obi talks about a movie series he doesn't like, and it turns out to be the Back to the Future series? Really?
What? He has a very valid explanation.
Faith is just as surprised as I am. Obi explains how time travel doesn't work like it does in the movies, as there's no mention of time arcs and stuff. I think the Doctor is more forgiving of time travel than Obi. He did travel through time, and Faith wants to know if it was like Doctor Who, Lost, or The Time Machine.
He used a phone booth.
We don't get to hear the explanation as the guy from earlier is talking to someone on the phone. He's keeping an eye on the two while stuffing his face with mozzarella sticks. He expects his boss to cover that. I don't think his stomach will appreciate it, though.
Later, the two discuss their harrowing adventures, and it turns out Faith misses being part of a team. She misses everything, except her dumb-butt ex-boyfriend. Faith explains how Unity, this universe's equivalent of the Avengers, got really violent. Obi knows what she means. Every conflict he was in ended in violence.
I wonder what would happen if he met Deadpool. Oh god, he's faint.
He dropped like a rock, Chris. Like a rock. Obi feels like they're wasting their abilities and wants to help people without punching others. Okay, I love this series, but sometimes I get a little annoyed by Obi's attitude. Sometimes you have to use force.
Surprised to see you snap.
I have my limits. Faith explains how they punch people for a purpose. They are there to inspire others and saving lives. Obi likes that idea.
She asks if they ever want to join a team like the Avengers or Unity. Obi says that he and Armstrong are a team. To Faith, they're more like a duo like Batman and Robin. So many name drops. I think Faith and Kamala Khan would get along famously. He doesn't want to abandon Armstrong, and his date honestly doesn't get those two. He's been a gentleman all night, and Armstrong did some questionable things at Exo Manowar's wedding. Can't be any worse than what Johnny did at Reed and Sue's wedding.
What did he do?
Left the door to the negative zone open. Obi admits that while Armstrong can be a bit abrasive, he's still a good friend. People say he's a good influence on him too, and the truth is they help each other. Why are you looking at me like that, he asks, and she explains how she never met anyone as kind-hearted as he is, as they hold hands. I think I got something in my eyes, John. Are you cutting onions?
No. Not at all. My turn! Archer looks at his watch and realizes they may be late for the movie. He likes to get there early for popcorn. He pays the guy holding the cat, and yeah, I gotta agree, it's weird for him to still be holding it. I don't think it's even alive.
See, I told you. Archer tells the guy to keep the change, and we get a Godfather quote. This comic went to great lengths for a Godfather reference.
Yep, and at least no one got whacked this time. Obi wants the night to go perfectly. Faith says it's gonna be fine. Any other woman would have left by now, I think. This is true love right there. They leave, and the guy on the phone spots them. He's told to stay on them and wait for their arrival.
The stalker pays for his ticket and observes the two as the movie begins. It's one of Faith's greatest movies of all time, and Odie says he'll love it even though he doesn't know what it's about. She then quotes the grandfather from the movie exactly. Dude, I think I like this lady.
I figured you would.
Faith worries that he thinks she's a dork, and Obi finds it endearing when she talks about the things she loves. Things then get cozy as the movie begins.
We're then treated to a montage of the two watching the movie. She looks at him with loving eyes and, "Hey, where's that romantic music coming from?"
I'm adding to an already awesome scene. Just go with it.
You're the editor. They hold hands and continue watching one of the best movies of the 1980s. I only wish I saw this when I was... Hey, wait a minute! I did see this movie when I was a kid. It's required viewing for anyone coming of age.
I know, I'm just making sure. After the movie, Obi sees why Faith loves it so much. It's a good love story, and the good guy wins without killing anyone. Hey dude, wanna be an internet critic? YouTube would love you. Sure, Vizzini died, and I have to agree it was his own fault. That still doesn't mean you should go against a Sicilian when death is on the line. I should probably note that the weird van here has loan sharks painted on the side, and it's been following the couple. Something is gonna go down. It turns out Obi's favorite part was being able to watch it with her. Faith gets a little flustered as he keeps saying the nicest things to her. He makes her want to say nice things. They go in for a kiss, and... Sharky McCockblock zaps Obi with a taser. Oy, that's gotta hurt. Faith says they could have waited 2 more seconds. At least, there's just no courtesy with villains these days. It seems like these rejects from Katy Perry's halftime show waited long enough as he is zapped again. Faith takes off and drops one of the thugs on the sidewalk. The guy zapping Obi wants information, and Faith socks him. She rushes to help her boyfriend when more shark guys with electro wands show up. The two banter as Obi executes a spinning hook kick. I love it when a comic explains the moves for me. It makes describing the events so much easier. Faith whips 2 guys up in a whirlwind and slams them against the side of a building. I love how they're talking about Star Trek. He just got to Captain Picard. I wonder how he'll like Cisco. Oh, he won't like the Cisco. Oh man, you're right. Well, at least there's always Janeway. Obi chops a guy like Kirk, and the bad guys admit that they're getting embarrassed here. It's time for them to unveil their secret weapon.
The back of the van opens, and out comes an even bigger dude in a shark costume. Wonder if Spidey had days like this.
Half of his rogues gallery are animal themed, John. Of course he has.
The two continue talking about the list of things to see when Shark Boy grabs the lady's leg. He then gets clobbered for his trouble and laid out on the ground. Obviously, the sharks didn't think things through. Playtime seems to be over as a pair of thugs aim their guns at the two.
Archer kicks the gun out of the thug's hand and ends up breaking the guy's wrist. Sirens blare as Obi actually apologizes for what he did. I'm with Faith. No need to apologize, dude. The guy was gonna kill you. Our hero wants answers, and it seems that the lone sharks here wanted to see his immortal friend Armstrong. He wants to know why, and all he can say is how his evil organization is not going to cover his injury. That's why AIM has better insurance.
I thought that was Hydra.
AIM has better dental and cooler toys. Sirens continue to blare as Obi explains how the sect doesn't exist anymore. The sharks fought them over nothing. The heroes take off just as the cops arrive. Good to see this trope exist in the Valiant universe.
The pair land on a rooftop to talk about the events of tonight. Obi's worried that the perfect evening has been ruined. Faith says otherwise. He then borrows from the Peter Parker playbook and blames himself. His enemies could come after him next time. She then adds, or hers. Obi would understand if she never wanted to see him again. She then kisses him and says it's been one of the best nights of her life.
Since the invention of the kiss, there have been 5 kisses that have been rated the most passionate, the most pure. This one on this page left them all behind. Well, except for the Peter Parker and Mary Jane ones.
Hey now, true love still exists in comics.
I know, I just wish comic companies had scenes like this more often. It just humanizes the characters much more.
The two kiss in midair as they recite that famous line from the movie. They later text as Obi makes his way back home. He promises to visit LA again.
Greeting him outside the terminal is Armstrong with a sign that says, Kid. He looks a little beat, and that's just because he and Muriel have been looking for his wife. He then says something's different about Obi, and asks how the date went. Obi says a gentleman never tells. Armstrong says the same thing we're thinking, and tells him to get in the car. It seems at long last they found his wife.
Armstrong fills Archer in on their next adventure as the comic ends. It turns out that Muriel knew someone who knew someone that knows where Armstrong's wife is. The lady's excited to see him and told Armstrong that she's in Florida. Our comic ends with the two headed in that direction.
I just hope they avoid the naked crazy down there. Let's take a closer look at this comic.
When Archer and Armstrong began, Obadiah was very much the straight man to Armstrong. He was always much a stick in the mud and not very social, as he'd been raised in a very militant upbringing and had never really known any other women outside of his siblings. It's good to see him get some development here, as he really is new to the whole dating thing, and him getting to know Faith better is just very sweet to see. The two of them have great romantic chemistry, and Rafer Roberts really does a good job at selling us that these two are a couple, that these two could have a future together. I also like that it ties into the upcoming events of the series while managing to stand on its own. It's very much a pick it up and play catch up with the previous storyline. You don't need to have read the previous issue to know what's happening here. Just a basic knowledge of the characters. If you're a newbie, it might be best to start from the beginning of the series, or the previous one. But if you just like a good old-fashioned date night story, I recommend checking this out. I recommend the whole series in general, too.
This comic is light on action and really focuses on the two characters' romantic relationship. Other writers have done similar things with their characters, and it's great to see it here in the Valiant universe. Stories like this humanizes the comic character and makes them seem all the more real to me. I know they're fictional, but they should be written like human beings with thoughts, emotions, and a desire for a normal life. Superpowers and the ability to do some good in the world should be an added bonus in my opinion. People want a healthy combination of both, and we have that here. If you throw in some heroic daring do, references to an awesome movie, and a continuation of a plot thread, you get yourself a pretty good comic. Out of all the Valiant comics we've covered, I think I like Archer and Armstrong the most. And while Obi's goody two-shoes behavior does get a little grating after a while, I can tell he means well. This series continues to be a great blend of great writing, mystery, and decent action. Thanks for introducing me to this comic, John. It's full of what I've come to expect from this series, and I want to know what happens next. As always, Archer and Armstrong proves to be one of the greatest and strangest comics I've ever read. Check it out today.
The book may have lasted 12 issues, but it was 12 issues of Valiant's funniest and best. Check out A&A, The Adventures of Archer and Armstrong.
Thanks for reviewing the comic with me, my friend. Hey, you gotta be around next month?
Yeah? Why?
It's my 50th episode!
Oh yeah, I'll be there. What are you reviewing?
We'll be going to a galaxy far, far away. See you in the funny papers. It works for Linkara, so it's time for a yearly trip to the Valiant universe, is it? Who are we gonna cover this time?
I don't know that one.
Alexa is watching.
I'm not sure.